everybody? Welcome to the 15th episode of the Piledriver podcast. I am one of your hosts, Daniel, joined by my other two hosts.
It's Berman.
And Chris again.
So this week was quite crazy. We've got a lot of returns. And even though we won't be talking about SmackDown, we will be talking about Raw and Dynamite on this podcast, among a lot of other things. And the first subject I would like to bring up, Johnny Ace, John Laurinaitis, whatever you would like to call him. He was officially fired from WWE. And obviously he has had involvement in many of Vince McMahon's acts over the years. And yeah, he has a very bad reputation amongst the women's locker room. So with all that stuff being said, I am very, very thankful to say he is out of the WWE. Good riddance, Johnny Ace. You are an old-timer, and your presence is no longer needed in this business, along with all of the other Vince Yes men that are still in this company.
Yeah, that's fairly put. I'm happy that Johnny Ace is gone, and I'm hoping he stays out of WWE and let Triple H take care of this business better than him and Shane and McMahon.
Sayonara, Johnny
agreed.
Ace. Get the hell out of wrestling. Stop ruining wrestling. Leave.
All right, so enough about that old creep. Good riddance. Next, we're going to talk about the very first return that happened within the past week. It was the duo of Karrion Kross and Scarlet. That is right. Karrion Kross and Scarlet are back. They were released a while ago, but since Triple H has taken control of talent relations, he's doing some changes. He's unbanning the terms wrestling and pro wrestling, or wrestlers, all those terms that involve wrestling. He's unbanning those terms. He's probably going to unban certain moves as well over time, and bring back certain people. Maybe we'll have to see.
I love power drivers.
Power drivers are great, yeah. But expect many more returns to be made. The reports are basically spread out that Triple H does not plan on stopping anytime soon on bringing a lot of talent into this company. And yeah, it looks like he wants to spice up every single division that he can and make every title prestigious and really make everything feel important, and that's cool. It's really good. How will Karrion and Scarlet do in this run? We'll have to see. I think they could do pretty well. There are some people out there saying that Karrion could be one to take down Roman Reigns. Get a hold of yourself. We don't know about that.
Well, hey, I'm that person. I'm one of those people. I want Karrion Kross to win, to defeat Roman. Yeah, that's a perfect one.
I don't know about him. I don't know
Roman
about
Reigns. Karrion Kross is going to knock that bitch ass out.
Nah, I don't know about Karrion Kross, man. He's great, but he ain't the tribal chief.
So he's not cringe? Got you, Daniel. I got you.
Yep.
I don't think you're going to be a big fan of him, honestly, over time. You'll see why.
Karrion Kross is probably better than him. He's the walking doomsday.
No offense to Karrion Kross, but has he ever had a match above an 8 out of 10?
Yes.
Like what?
The Finn Balor match he had. Probably both Finn Balor matches are fucking amazing. The Keith Lee match was fucking amazing too. Even in Impact, no one watches the Impact, but when he was in Killer Kross, he was a great Impact star too.
Listen, I don't deny that he's good, but he ain't main event player to me. That's just my opinion.
I think he is.
We'll have to see. So, but yeah, besides all that, expect some more returns. Yeah, so now, you guys ready to talk about Monday Night Raw?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So, I'm going to do a quick review first. Now, if I don't mention certain matches, just that probably means that I just felt okay or good about them. Nothing too crazy. But yeah, so Monday Night Raw. I thought it was good. I didn't think it was as good as last week's show. But yeah, for the most part, I was entertained from start to finish. Of course, the 3 hours it's just going to be hard to, make consistently great shows with, that time length, because 3 hours honestly used to be the length of pay-per-views. Having that now be the length every week on Monday Night Raw is exhausting. It genuinely, especially for people who, have a lot of things to do in life, it's just exhausting. For WWE to have 3 hours of Raw, 2 hours of NXT, and 2 hours of SmackDown. 7 hours of television programming is way too much, in my personal opinion. And obviously, Triple H agrees because he has gone off the record in the past to say that if there is one major change he could make, it would make to turn Raw back to 2 hours. Obviously, the 3 hours are in contract until 2024, but you bet your bottom dollar once it hits that year, this third hour will be gone, and this will all be less of an issue. But despite all of that, though, I will say this. There was some pretty good character development throughout the show, like with Dominic Mysterio, kind of showing, a bit of a dark side, I guess you could say, by faking a forgiveness for Edge when he didn't really forgive him. And, clearly he's holding that spear with a grudge. And then you got the Street Profits. It seems like every single time they're in the ring together, it looks like one of them's going to turn heel on the other. They continue to interact with Seth Rollins. And, of course, the Street Profits being Riddle's friends, it makes sense why they're fighting Seth Rollins. And, yeah, I really liked the debut of Dexter Lumis. I thought all the, stuff going on in the background, all the chaos going on in the background during backstage interviews, and, having that lead to something was really cool. And Dexter Lumis is an interesting character to bring back. So I don't know how they're going to utilize Dexter Lumis. Maybe future United States champion, maybe. But yeah, overall very interesting. And I like. I would be interested if he was a stalker heel. That would be pretty interesting to me. And it seems like that's what they want to do here, if he's targeting AJ Styles. So yeah, I like that quite a bit. And then you got a pretty solid opening segment. Not just the end of the show was good, but you got a pretty solid open with the show. And that's, having Bailey, Dakota, and Io just talk their shit, getting interrupted by Bianca, Asuka, and Alexa. And they just confirmed their match for Clash at the Castle. So it will be a 6-woman tag team match at Clash at the Castle. Could it be winner take all by then? I don't know. The tournament does end before Clash at the Castle, and everyone, including myself, expects Dakota and Io to be the winners of that tournament. So, if that's the case, maybe the match can be a winner take all, and I think that would be pretty cool. Now,
Yeah, we haven't. Let's see one.
Now, we also got a great United States Championship match. This was probably the best match of the night. Ciampa and Lashley. And even though Ciampa didn't win, he had a very strong showing. So I can say that. And yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do there, I guess. I will say for a lot of the matches were pretty average. Like there wasn't anything massively horrendous. Maybe something was massively horrendous, and I just kind of forgot it. But for the most part, though, the wrestling was pretty average from an in-ring standpoint. The almost enhancement match made no sense to me because here's the thing. We already know who this guy is for literally almost 2 years. Why are we having jobbers fight him if we've known this guy for nearly 2 years? Are you telling me we still need to develop this guy more after 2 years with enhancement talent? That's a problem. That's all I have to say. That's a problem. And then as for the Women's Tag Team Championship tournament, you guys know how I feel about Women's Tag Team Championships. I hate it. I
It's
personally am
coming
not a
back.
fan of Women's Tag Team Championships. And I don't care if it comes back or if it, well, it has come back. But the thing is that look at the board. A good portion of these teams are practically thrown together and have little to no alliance with each other. Like Shotzi and Xia Li, where the fuck did that one come from? Like it doesn't make sense to me. Raquel and Alea, what have they done on screen to make me think that they would be friends enough to go after tag titles? Like it just doesn't make sense to me. And obviously, the women's division not having enough women in it is the main reason why I don't believe in women's tag team championships. And sure, Banks and Naomi, if they come back, then great. They'll add the fuel to the championships. But right now, I don't think the roster is strong enough for these championships. And that's just my personal opinion. But yeah, other stuff I have to mention was AJ versus Miz. That was a pretty good main event. Nothing too crazy there. But I really loved what they did with Kevin Owens, making him look like an absolute monster and taking out Ezekiel. I think it looks like they're writing off Ezekiel. Maybe Elias comes back as without the personality disorder or something different. Who knows what's going to happen? But all that matters is Kevin Owens is NXT Kevin Owens again, and I love that. So I'm going to do enough rambling here. Overall, I thought the show was good, not fantastic. I'm going to rate it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, for me, I love it was pretty good. I love the Dominic Mysterio kind of bit that he really just has a grudge against Edge, and I'm really kind of hoping that Dominic Mysterio betrays his father and goes into the Judgment Day. I think it would be a great thing to put in there. It makes it really interesting to see the Judgment Day with Dominic Mysterio. That'd be cool to see him heal. I am completely happy with Dexter Lumis. That was one of my favorites of all time in NXT as this like creepy heel character. I kind of want him to be kind of like a stalker. Heel would be very cool.
Oh, wait. Can I mention something real quick?
Shoot.
You know what would be a pretty cool idea? What if this main roster character was a combination of Samuel Shaw from back in the day and Dexter Lumis from NXT?
That could be really good. I'd be interested to see if they do that stuff. I'm hoping that Triple H kind of thinks of that. My thing, I just want him to be kind of like a serial killer kind of character, like where he just takes out everyone and just becomes like a menace. I don't know how he could maybe like Kane, but like a smaller version of Kane, maybe. I don't know how he would call it, maybe, but it just sounds. I would like to have this serial killer persona, him stalking people and then pretty much destroying them and going on into like a pyramid of like bodies, pretty much. It would be pretty cool to see. I love Kevin Owens. I'm happy they pretty much more or less brought back the powerbomb to the apron finish move that he used in NXT, the most brutal finish to see. I love that. I do love the opening. It's fun to see them just talking so much crap. United States title. I love it. Ciampa or Tommaso Ciampa, more or less for me. I'm happy that he gets a great match, and I'm hoping maybe he gets a secondary title match maybe soon. I don't know when he's going to do that, but it does sound like it. I'm happy that the entire was at least changed into like a red, white, and blue. That kind of made it work better, but
Oh
not
yeah,
all the way to darker.
and the reason why they did that was obviously to tribute his trainer Harley Race.
Yeah, so I perfectly fine with that. I think that if they keep that as it could do that. I like that. But I like them the darker chunks. So, in ring, yeah, it's true that I don't like. There was very like little impact. There's not super like big things that happened that made me like shock and awe, except me seeing Dexter Loomis and the Powerball on the apron and the Dominic Mysterio conflicts. Like that made me kind of interested. But like everything else inside the ring was not like super shock and awe. But it was okay. Almost I can't say anymore. I just hate almost. I don't want him to be in this. He needs to be more better. He needs to just get better. Like I don't know how you can make him better. I don't know, but you don't need any more with almost the women's tag team. I kind of agree a little bit with that. Like there's not so many people, and that's why they have NXT 2.0 stars in there too, because they have Zoe Starks and I forgot her name,
Nikita. Yeah, that's
Kita.
the one NXT 2.0 team in the tournament.
Yeah, that's like it's pretty much trying to say, hey, we are empty on the main roster. We need to get some people from the NXT uh, developmental, pretty much the stars. Even though Stark is not
Yeah,
not.
but like you know what pisses me off? It's like if you know like you don't even have enough teams on your main roster, why does the NXT tag team titles for the women even exist? Like why have two women's tag team titles and not just do the old fashioned way, which was have the women's tag titles be defended on Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. And I feel like if they went with that plan, it would have been really cool. But
Yeah, that is something. It's true, and it's possible they might do like a unification, just like the Usos did, but maybe they do it for the women instead.
yeah, that'd be good.
It makes sense, and they could probably do that in an NXT takeover or maybe one of the pay-per-views. did something, but it kind of makes sense if they do that. That's maybe what they're thinking about doing, and I'm perfectly fine if they do that. The only thing they did do, and that's why I love that that Triple H is bringing a lot of these stars back. And I'm hoping that the Triple H brings some really good NXT people from NXT, like Black and Gold brand, to the main roster. Like Candice LeRae would be very fun to see. I would love to see the actually Candice LeRae and her tag team partner. I forgot her name again. The pretty much the
Indy
husband,
Hartwell. Indy
Indy
Hartwell.
Hartwell's
Yeah,
husband,
the
pretty much.
child, one of the children from the way.
It'd be pretty cool to see that because of the maybe possible abilities of the Johnny wrestling coming around here. I'd be curious. Until they have those people, NXT Black and Gold brand people in the NXT Women's Tag Team thing, I'm probably not really interested. But this match, it was not that bad. There was some very good stuff, so I'm gonna give this a 7 too.
It was definitely 7. But one thing, if they end up doing it, like you say with Dominic turning heel, I want to see that Edge and Mysterio team up, like they did back in the day. If you guys remember that, like that was so brief, but they were
Yeah, I
so
do.
good together, dude. That's the only thing I wanted from this feud. Everything's been said, so decent overall Raw. But AEW,
We'll get to
AEW.
that. Yeah, AEW was on another level. But yeah. So before we talk about AEW, you guys want to know something?
Shoot.
Ric Flair wants to wrestle again.
Please die already.
No, don't say it for. He'll
Oh,
be good on
Jesus Christ,
AEW.
man. It's so harsh,
you know
but
what? I'll
like,
let you guys rant before I rant.
I know it's so harsh, but Jesus Christ, he was gonna die in that match. You don't need to die again in this match again. You don't need to show anything off. You're still a great wrestler when you fought against Shawn Michaels. You should have left it off. You should just die in a hole and sleep in retirement home. That's all you should have did. That's all.
No, Bourbon. I have the perfect opponent for Ric Flair.
What?
Dude, have him in a coffin match with Darby Allin. It'd be so poetic.
That would be pretty poetic.
That would be poetic. Or just Sting, or maybe Sting instead.
Oh yeah,
Darby
Instead
and
of Darby.
Sting. Darby and Sting versus Ric Flair and Andrade. Tag
That
team
could work.
coffin match.
Or maybe more for maybe be turned for maybe what's it called, Aleister Black or Malachi Black with his old friend.
Mm,
It'd be
Malachi.
weird to see Ric Flair and Malachi Black together, but it kind of makes sense just to think about it.
Yeah,
It
interesting.
make-
But yeah, the reason why he said he wants to come back is because he wasn't satisfied with his last match. He admitted to passing out twice in his in his last match, and basically he's not going to stop until he gets that one match that he's satisfied with.
He's never gonna get it. That's something specifically things that
He's
he's never
probably
gonna
going
get
to die in
anything
the
better
ring
than
at this
he's
point.
yeah, he's never gonna get anything greater than the Shawn Michaels match against with him. There's no way you can get anything better in his condition and how bad he is right now. You cannot get anything better. It's just an idiot. He's the most idiot person, same as Trump.
Damn. All right. Well, any other news? We have to shoot our shit here. So we have 4 free agents right now that are really, really going crazy right now. Johnny Gargano, Bray Wyatt, Sasha Banks, and Naomi. WWE or AEW. This is my opinion. Sasha, she's always been in WWE. She has some time in small indie places and whatnot, but for the most part, she's always been in NXT and WWE individual. So I'm not gonna lie, I would kind of want to see her go to AEW. I think she's more needed in AEW. AEW could use the help. Because their women's division is just a wreck right now, and we'll get into that later. But basically, yeah, I think I want to see Mercedes go to AEW, try something new, have her fight Thunder Rosa, other names as well, and then Bray Wyatt. It's kind of the same case, you know. He's always been in WWE. So again, I kind of want him to go to AEW. Now we go to Naomi. I think she's definitely going back to WWE. 100%. Her husband's there, and she could be a part of the bloodline. I think she's 100% going back to WWE. Then go to Johnny Gargano. Even though I want him to go to WWE, here's the one thing nobody is thinking about. Raw was in Cleveland this week, so if he was going to debut, it could have been this week. It could have been at SummerSlam, but it wasn't at either show. He showed up at StarCast, which I believe if you are under WWE contract, you are not allowed to go to. And Johnny Gargano is still live streaming, which, again, if you are under WWE contract, you are not allowed to do. So, it is very likely Tony Khan already signed Johnny Gargano long ago and is waiting for the right time and right moment to put him on TV or pay-per-view.
Yeah, for me, Sasha Banks, I would love her to go in AEW. It should be fun to see her change her style. Naomi, I'm hoping that she goes to the Bloodline or WWE pretty much. I'm hoping because that's perfect for her. She just becomes the baddie. Bray Wyatt, I love Bray Wyatt in general, and I hope I love to see him go to AEW, but I feel like sometimes maybe Triple H wants and maybe Bray Wyatt, but I don't know if they would try doing that. If he ever goes to WWE again, I'm just hoping that he gets good recognition, he gets a good push, maybe gets a championship. I'm just hoping that he gets a lot of attention because he's probably one of the best, and I don't know what type of style he's gonna go to the Fiend or a new persona. I'm happy with this. This Johnny Gargano is really controversial for me because I would love him to go to AEW. I think it's great to see him, but I feel like AEW has so many people. I think really for me, I think WWE should, but it's possible that maybe Triple H is doing this on purpose because maybe he's thinking, oh, let's not do Johnny Gargano sign him yet. To say people, oh, he's going to go to AEW to kind of contradict people saying like he's not going to WWE. Because I feel like maybe he should, because I don't think the Tommaso Ciampa and Miz partnership is going to last, and I feel like Johnny Gargano is a return when the Miz betrays Ciampa to kind of bring it back to DIY, and it completely makes sense with the story development and everything. So with that, that's my personal opinions on these people.
I'm kind of with you, Berman. But honestly, I would prefer Johnny to go to WWE, just team up with Ciampa to get the DYI again. But from what Daniel said, it's not going to happen due to the fact that like he's under contract, he's doing the streams, and you can't do that under WWE. So we'll probably see him in AEW, and
Well,
then
that's why I started. That's why I kind of mentioned that maybe Triple H hasn't did his contract yet, but trying to say like, hey, stay over here around WWE, so I can grab you really quickly because I feel like he's trying to make everyone like a surprise. It's like one of the best surprises because people would not know if he's even going to these two. Because I think Triple H and Johnny Gargano has a good relationship, so I feel like it makes sense for them not to sign him. Kind of make people suspicious, like, oh, where is he going to make more hit spin? So I feel like that's my opinion with this whole thing.
Here's the thing, though, right? Is that when Claudio was signed to AEW, he was signed all the way back in February when he was released. And he didn't use him till June. And there are many cases where Tony has waited months and months and months till he finally uses that wrestler. Johnny could be another one of those cases. And Triple H only got ownership just a few weeks ago.
I hope not. But Chris, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
it's okay. But other than that, hopefully Bray Wyatt does come back because he's a great wrestler. As much as I shot on him in the last debate video, but it was fine. He'll most likely come back to I want to say AEW because I don't know if he was too close with Triple H or not, or Hunter, or whatever they call him now. Well, his real name, whatever.
Paul. His Triple H's real name is Paul.
Okay, Paul. Paul from Mall Cop. But anywho, for real, if he was ever close enough to Triple H, either way he'll do fine. That's all I gotta say.
Okay. All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you guys want to know what's crazy is that Mickie James has retired. One of the greatest women's wrestlers of all time, multi-time champion in multiple different companies. Yeah, Mickie James was one of my personal favorite women's wrestlers of all time, and I feel like she paved the way for many. So, all I gotta say is thank you, Mickie James. Hopefully, you find some success or have fun post-retirement, whatever you do.
Yeah, me too. I love Mickie James, and she was really great in Impact when she was there. She was Impact champion. She was happy and had a lot of fun, and I'm hoping that she has a great retirement with her husband, and just maybe goes to her husband's shows, maybe become a manager just with him. But while she's retirement, don't know if they're going to do that, whatever. But I just happy for Mickie James to retire for him. So just have a nice, relaxful life.
I'm surprised she retired. I didn't even know. It wasn't even blowing up on Twitter or anything.
Yeah, she basically just responded to a fan's question and casually just said, "Yeah, I'm retired."
Oh, that's what they
So
all say. Look at Ric
maybe she
Flair.
retired weeks ago and nobody knows.
That's Ric Flair's next opponent.
Ric Flair versus Mickie James in the intergender match.
Yes.
I see.
She did have a last match, if I'm not correct, a last match on Impact, I think last week, if I'm not correct. A tag team match.
Interesting. Yeah, she had a very quiet retirement. Interesting. Now, Chris Statlander, unfortunately, is another one who bites the dust. She has a knee injury. We don't know how long she's out for. That sucks. You know, Chris Statlander was really over right now. Hopefully she can be really over when she comes back. Get well soon, Chris Statlander. That's all I can say. I think her new darker side is great, and hopefully she can win the title whenever she returns.
Same with me. I'm hoping that she gets well fast, and she gets back and maybe goes for the TBS or the AEW. I'm hoping that she comes back with the same personas and everything. Get well, Chris Statlander, if you ever listen to this.
Yeah. She got injured during which match with Thunder Rosa, right? Or is that something else outside of like Dark or something?
Oh no, it was like something on Dark.
Oh, rip! It wasn't even the main event.
Yeah,
Oh,
shite happens, man.
yeah, man.
So, Quake by the Lake. What do you guys think before we go into the show?
Amazing. That's all I have to say myself.
You know, fuck SmackDown, fuck Raw. This is AEW. Fuck all the other wrestling companies because they don't got
Oh my
shit.
god! Oh my
All right,
god!
that's it.
Don't be that guy. No, I'm just playing. You can have fun.
No.
Anyways, so yeah, Dynamite was outstanding. The best wrestling show this year. That's we got a massive return in the end. No offense to Dexter and Karrion, but the return at the end of this show was way
Nobody
bigger. Neither of
cares.
those returns.
Nobody cares about this.
And then, yeah, we got top tier pacing. Like every match felt like it was put in the perfect places. There was amazing wrestling throughout the show, except for one match, but we'll get to that. And yeah, man, we got an awesome first two matches were awesome. We got a brutal coffin match, which was probably one of my favorite TV matches this year, where Brody King literally bled within the first like 2 minutes, but man, he just kept going and going. It was vicious, bro. It was a vicious war. And Darby won, now 3-0 in coffin matches. He's undefeated. He's starting to gain an undefeated streak in these coffin matches, which is pretty cool. It seems like the coffin match is Darby's match in AEW. And yeah, there was variety throughout the show, you know? You got that bloody coffin match in the beginning. Then the next match was a high-flying, kind of crazy tornado tag team match. Andrade and Rush versus the Lucha Brothers. And that was great too, man. And yeah, you got a lot of great wrestling on here. The main event between Moxley and Jericho was amazing as well, and it felt like one of the best in-ring performances Jericho has given since AEW has begun. So great stuff right there from them both. And it is being rumored that it seems like AEW wants to do Bryan versus Jericho at All Out. So yeah, if Jericho brings it like he did in this Moxley match, I'm happy with that. Now, there were good segments and setup to All Out, except now I have to talk about the bad, unfortunately. And there isn't much, so bear with me here. The Jade Cargill match, it wasn't terrible with Madison Rayne. It wasn't terrible, but it did go too long. It was a test for Jade Cargill. It wasn't one of those 5 to 10 minute matches. She was given the test, and that's to go out there and wrestle a longer match. And unfortunately, she's not ready for that yet. And this exposed a lot of Jade Cargill's flaws as an in-ring performer, unfortunately. But yeah, who knows? Maybe she'll still continue to improve, because I feel like she has improved over time. It's just been a slow process. But hey, not everything in life just is quick and easy, So I can accept that. Now, that Thunderstorm promo backstage was lame between Thunder Rosa and Toni Storm. Thunder Rosa, basically, right? She was just like, yeah, so I heard you were the #1 contender. Yeah, I'll see you later. Then I guess we'll go out there and have a good match. Like, it was lame, man. It was lame. And you had this match at Forbidden Door with barely any hype, and you're doing the same bullshit with this match. And I'm going to tell you what. This is the part where I talk about AEW's women's division, because I said it with earlier. This show was undeniably the better show. But this is the issue, the real big issue with AEW's women's division. Right now, when I look at Thunderstorm versus Thunderstorm, what the fuck? Toni Storm versus Thunder Rosa. When I look at that match, a lot of people have been calling Thunder Rosa's championship reign lackluster. And they want her to drop the belt to Toni Storm. Here's a news flash, everybody. Here is a news flash. If Toni Storm wins, it doesn't fucking matter. Do you want to know why it doesn't fucking matter? Because this division, this entire women's division, revolves around 2 people and 2 people only. Britt Baker and Jade Cargill. With Jade's undefeated streak, and with Britt Baker, obviously gain a lot of screen time, and being a bigger highlight than on the show than Thunder Rosa has been her entire fucking title reign. The Owen Hart Cup won by Britt Baker, and then after that, she's been absolutely involved in Thunder Rosa's business ever fucking since, and she's gotten more screen time than Thunder Rosa as well. Won't you think about that? And this bullshit, right, is the same. All this stuff, we can only focus on, 1 or 2 women at a time mentality shit. It's the reason why Hikaru Shida's year-long reign, was forgettable and sucked. That's the reason why Nyla Rose's reign meant nothing. That's the reason why Riho's reign meant jack shit. This whole women's division is about 2 people and 2 people only. Britt Baker and Jade Cargill. So they could slap the title on a Thunder Rosa. They could slap the title on a Toni Storm. They could slap the title on a Jamie Hayter. But at the end of the day, it won't fucking matter. Because this whole division is about Jade Cargill and Britt Baker. And I have given up all of my hope on this division ever being better because of the obvious need to promote these 2. That's all I have to say. But besides that, this was a fan-fucking-tastic show. Punk returning at the end was absolutely amazing. Yes, Punk return at the end. The AEW World Champion. And I am so happy to see that. And he is going to fight another one of my all-time favorites in Jon Moxley. I love Jon Moxley, I do. And I see Punk versus Mox as my version of Rock versus Stone Cold. You got Punk, who has kind of become the franchise, the number one player of the company in terms of merchandise, in terms of the crowd reactions, in terms of the viewerships. That's CM Punk. That's your franchise player. That's like the Rock Cena kind of guy now. But then you look at John Moxley, he's kind of that anti-hero rebel kind who doesn't really care who he has to take out, kind of like Stone Cold Steve Austin. This is AEW's The Rock versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. It is the two most pushed featured stars in that company, and rightfully so, ladies and gentlemen. This match is going to be outstanding. I know that. It's an outstanding main event. And I'm excited for it. I'm excited for that main event. So yeah, even though I had that little rant on the women's division, don't get it twisted. It was an outstanding show. So I'm going to give this show a 9.5 out of 10. The first 9.5 plus rating I have given to a wrestling show in this entire year. Let's see if one of these shows can eventually hit a 10.
Yeah, this was amazing. Everything was planned out perfectly. I'm happy, completely happy with CM Punk coming back. It's just the best thing to show up while John Moxley is getting attacked, and just a perfect way to bring him back. And it's just so good to see him. And just freaking John Moxley just flipping CM Punk off. That's just pretty funny. And I love it. Everything was perfectly placed. Yeah, so now I'm going to talk more about these two more. Thunderstorm, it was dumb. It's completely true what's happening with the freaking just Britt Baker and Jay Cargill just too focused. I don't like it. It's so stupid. So that's why I don't like this stuff. And it sucks because I do like women's divisions most of the time, but it's just so stupid that they're making the women's division just to pinpoint on two specific people, and just does not work. And now I'm going to be bringing back more about Jade Cargill. Every match that Jade Cargill had for me, I really, fairly pretty much hated. I never really loved her. I did like how she walked out. She was very cocky. I like that type of style, but she sucks in the ring for me. I never liked it. All the matches were like so jobbers for me. It was never something I loved to watch about her. But the big thing I did like was that it contradicts me is that Athena comes out and attacks Jade Cargill after the match, which I'm happy with because I'm hoping freaking she gets that Jade Cargill's title off the hell out of her, and she gets injured or something, so she can replan her style because I don't like her. I want her to get rid of that championship and win and let Athena take that title away from her, and Britt Baker. I'm hoping that she goes back into injury slot or something. I just they need to separate these two out of these division and get them like injured or something. They don't should not be in there. Should let people have.
That's fucked up.
It's just it's completely. I mean, completely blunt for me, and that's how I like talking to this. I'm
That's fair.
blunt as hell. So, and that's how blunt I am. I don't want these guys. I want these guys to be injured, and so everyone else has a better point. Like freaking Jamie Hayter is getting dragged down into the mud by Britt Baker, and Jamie Hayter is probably one of the best I have watched a lot. And I think she's just getting
That's
dragged.
facts. That is
Yeah,
facts.
and that's why I'm gets pissed off of me. Why I see Jamie Hayter just like a lackey, Britt Baker. She should not be a lackey. She should be a top dog, and never she's not. And it's just so stupid. And that's why I want Britt Baker gone. Same with Jade. I just I want her to be gone. Tina, rise up and just get that title away from her. So we having more better title matches and probably better title championships. Like probably goes to Athena, maybe goes to Statlander when she comes back. Goes to maybe Jamie Hayter. More people. They need to get these two out of the hell and go injured, go back home, spend time, whatever. Get the hell out of AEW for a good year and then come back and think about stuff. And that's all for me. Oh yeah, well, actually, I probably definitely I went ranted too much, but that's personal opinion for this women's division. Everything else, awesome. I loved it. So definitely a 9 out of 10, a 9.5 out for me. I just love the match, every match, including the Chris Jericho versus John Moxley. I loved Lionheart coming back, great, and he looked so happy to having this type of style. He was laughing, he was smiling. You don't see him smiling very often in these type of matches. So I love him that he was really happy to bring back this persona. So I'm pretty happy with this. So definitely 9.5 out of 10 for me. Best match.
It was so good, dude. And I liked how he brought his old character back too for Chris Jericho. Just like, yes, the Lionheart's back. And it makes me sad because I don't think he's gonna do this again for like a hot second. He's gonna go back to the stupid the Jericho Appreciation Society crap.
Yeah, the Wizard.
Yeah,
Yeah, the Lionheart was who he originally was in his beginning days. That's like his origins, you know. So it was really cool to see him kind of be his old self for one night again.
very true. And then also too, I guess for the women's division, like you said, that's a major problem with Britt Baker and then Jade not to go on again. But hopefully at the end it takes it over because I mean I didn't like Jade and she deserves the criticism she gets because it's very greenish. And I'm like, dude, come on. You have like 38 matches, and like by now, it should
Yeah,
be at
she's green.
least like, dude, 38 matches. But anyways, you know what's the one thing we forgot to talk about because of how forgettable it was?
Hmm.
Jay Lethal coming back with Warlow.
We also forgot to talk about Hangman and the Buck
Oh yeah,
segment.
that too. And
I'll let
now,
you talk about that.
and not only did we get CM Punk, either next week it's gonna be Kenny Omega. It has to be, or it's gonna be Johnny
Yeah, next week's
Gargano
gonna be Kenny.
or Johnny.
Nah, Gargano and the Bucks wouldn't make sense.
Makes no sense. Yeah, it definitely should be either Adam Page. Yeah, Adam Page
Kenny Omega.
the or Kenny Omega. That's the only two I can think of that would fit the Young Bucks so perfectly.
Yeah.
Very true. I'm glad we're gonna see Kenny, and then, like you said, it leads to a heel Adam. Yeah, I'm ready for it, man. He he's gonna be fire. So,
And another
Yep.
thing we didn't talk about that much is the trios tournament. The trios tag
oh
team
yeah,
tournament.
Yeah.
It looked great.
Yeah, the bracket's fantastic. I
Yeah.
wish that there are a few teams that you can argue maybe they could have included. I don't know how I feel about the Trustbusters spot too much. I don't like that they threw Will Ospreay and Aussie Open in the tournament and that just basically didn't even say anything about it.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. I mean, it's like it's a Will Ospreay and and the freaking Aussie Open, and like they're like probably one of the best to see that, and they yeah, this is the tournament, this is the bracket. That's all. Like, come on,
Yeah,
man.
oh,
And
yeah.
even I do like the Truth Busters. Don't be wrong. I don't like the two guys I don't care about, but the Brock Lesnar guy, I forgot his name. He's
Parker,
called right now. Huh? What's his name?
Parker.
Parker. I love him. I think he's just cool. I watched a match on the dark. He is brutal. I just love how his act and stuff. So I'm happy with him kind of going into the main event, more like into main event scene, more or less the middle card. But like it's so weird to see like they didn't say shit about the Will Ospreay, but it's like it makes no sense to me. But I love it. It looks great tournament, even if
Agreed. So, Chris,
Yo,
what would be your personal rating for Dynamite?
it's a 9, man. Besides the
Yeah,
women's match, it went on too long, but that's just like whatever. Athena showing up, but overall, nothing bad to complain. 9.
yeah.
It was good.
I think it was the best Dynamite of the year so far. Maybe even the best wrestling show of the year so far. So yeah, if we're looking at Clash of the Castle, we got 3 matches set out so far. WWE Universal Championship and well, the 2 women's championship matches as well. So that's interesting for Clash of the Castle. Then for All Out, we got Jericho Danielson. We got freaking Punk and Mox. And the potential Jericho Bryan, which what do you guys think about Jericho Bryan?
very cool. If he has the same persona, the same act as the Lionheart, I'll be completely happy. I'd be interested to see this.
If anything, if the Bryan and Chris Jericho are gonna fight, I want Jericho to take the win to legitimize his faction because he's been losing quite a bit. like a lot recently, and I'm like, dude, come on, gotta give it to Chris once in a while.
Agreed. Hold on, someone's at my door.
Okay, but besides that, Berman, you would agree with that?
Yeah, but a big thing I would say is that the match with Daniel Garcia that's going to be happening with Daniel Bryan. I'm hoping that he wins that, then loses to the leader, Chris Jericho. That's what I would like to happen for me. And it should be both should be awesome matches too.
And also too for the trios, I don't know if the Young Bucks and Kenny are gonna face against Will Ospreay, but I would love to see that.
They're on the opposite block brackets right now.
Ah,
But if they
trash.
had to come out the finals, if they're in the finals, they will fight against each other, which I think is a good possibility.
I don't know, man, because I know the House of Black might just end up fighting the Elite if it does happen, which is gonna be good. And I hope House of
Yeah,
Black
but
actually wins it. Or
yeah,
Adam.
but you probably say on the other side, it's probably going to be Will Ospreay versus Will Ospreay and the Aussie Open advancing all the way to the finals. I feel like that's going to happen. For the other side, you can really it's hard to pick between those from the other side.
It's so good, man. And then if CM Punk does win, I won't be mad. I mean, I'll be a little salty like last time, but it's gonna be one of the greatest things ever. I'm so ready for it.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see more like CM Punk versus Kenny Omega. Like, there's so many great matches after this. After this happens, CM Punk can have so many great matches if CM Punk wins. If John Moxley wins, same thing. Kenny Omega versus John Moxley, repeat. I need repeat, but probably a better match.
That too. And you ever notice that like the tag team belts are kind of getting? I know it's only been like maybe like a week, but they're getting kind of pushed aside. And I don't like the fact that they're making like Warlord more of a mid carder now, which is kind of whack.
That is true. I noticed it. Even though it's like Swerve in Your Glory is the champions, they don't really have anything big. There's no titles. They set it up. There's no everyone's focused completely like one mindset on the trios tag teams. Like no one really cares about the other stuff, which it's like, all right, you have tag team champions and you don't forget about these guys, or like are you racist or something? Like, come on, pay attention a little bit.
It's like get in there, and then FTR too, dude. Like we haven't heard from them since the Ring and Honor thing, and I'm like, what happened?
Yeah, and they came out with Wardlow to support him against the Lethal and Friends,
Ah, but
which is
overall,
weird.
solid episode. Any closing thoughts, Bourbon?
No, it was probably one of the best, and I'm hoping that next week will be great too.
It will be so. Daniel's at the door, so he'll say goodbye. Okay, he said goodbye. I've been
Peace.
Chris. Later.
Peace.